I'm beginning to realise that my book, UK Black, reads in places like a book of remembrance. AIDS took away so many beautiful, beautiful people, and I tell their stories in my book. But I also talk about the arrival of AIDS and what it did to people mentally, physically, socially. It's from my book. A dignified death by the symptoms of old age was not to be our kind fate. Abandoned and alone in the fight of our lives, a hostile society influenced by a vicious media and opportunistic politicians willing to prostitute the dregs of their humanity to secure the ballot box votes of bigots, deemed us deserving of our suffering, our crippling fear, our unimaginable physical pain, our unyielding tears prompted by precious last goodbyes, our deaths. Our dashed hopes and dreams were destined to become the ashes of the cremation furnaces that would consume what AIDS had already destroyed. Ashes that were once beautiful bodies, full of radiant life and precious health and optimistic, bright smiles of an assumed, guaranteed future. It was only yesterday when we were sweating up the dance floor to love sensation and born to be alive and I feel love and I will survive. And we had every reason to believe that we would do just that, feel and share the love and not just survive, but thrive. Every guy, whatever his desire, looks or background, black, white, Asian, older, younger, bigger, smaller, knew he was hot stuff to somebody else close by. It was only yesterday that we cruised, kissed, and groped each other and gorged on the freedom of abundant sex, sex our way. It was only yesterday that the idea of an early death was so ridiculously unthinkable. But the fleshless reflection in this morning's bathroom mirror, the information that the good times had turned and a big disease with a little name was now playing Russian roulette with our lives. Too many unplanned goodbyes were our new reality, and the quest to survive was now much more than a mega hit record. Those three words, I will survive, had become a desperate assertion of hope over hopelessness. Swallowed up by designer clothes that no longer fit, it was now the survival of not the fittest or most determined, but simply, it seemed, the luckiest. Like the unwelcome surprise of snowfall interrupting the sunniest of spring days, we were stunned by the cruelty of our physical disintegration and the terror-inducing reality of death's determined approach. AIDS had sabotaged our far too temporary rendezvous with happiness and the delusion of longevity of life that we assumed had been promised at birth when our mothers delivered and greeted us into the world. Their tears of joy and precious first kiss belied our pending fate and the fact that our eager infant eyes would mature only long enough to cry a tortured goodbye. AIDS would consume what our mothers, AIDS would summon our mother's tears again, but this time to moisten the soil that would bury us. We could rely on the specialist sanctuaries of the likes of London Lighthouse, Mildmay and St Mary's Hospital to facilitate our safe and dignified passing from a sadistically vicious world. But just like our incurable disease, there was no treatment to prevent our deaths from being vilified across the daily press as grotesque entertainment for the ignorant and the heartless who ridiculed us in our plight, but who could never themselves be capable of the extraordinary resolve that it took to be a person dying, no, living with AIDS. There is an intense, ominous loneliness in conscious dying, where the ad hoc bedroom furniture and their over-amplified nighttime shadows are our only somewhat intimidating company. And each new heartbeat feels like a gallant achievement deserving of applause, even if it's only by the hands of the mechanical bedside clock. Its every audible tick and tock confirmed the sapping away of whatever was left of our lifetime, but it was also treasured verification that our senses were still alive and cooperating when other body parts no longer did. The hoped-for serenade of chirping birds from outside the rain-moistened window is welcome confirmation of the gift of a new day, another dawn. But it also signalled more bedridden soul-searching over useless regrets and punishing ourselves about things done or left undone. Great friends who disappeared to deal with their own diagnosis. Once eager lovers who simply disappeared. Endless pills and endless bacterial infections and side effects of drenching night sweats and random bowel movements causing shit-caked sheets, mental confusion about whether it was Monday or Wednesday, insane mental battles with ourselves about who gave us this cursed disease and who we may have passed it on to, cursing the charities refusing to take our bespoke clothing, longing for family that don't visit or when they do are too afraid to touch us, remembering friends already gone off to the disco in the sky, finding ourselves stiffly aroused by jagged memories of handsome one-nighters who clung tightly before disappearing after a cup of hurried morning coffee, and now jolted from the erectile twitching memory by present daily dilemma of who will bury us when there's no one left to do so. All of that redundant overthinking. Yet the only thing that really matters is whether today's pain management will be more effective than yesterday. Oh God, is this new day a gift or a curse? I mean, life is shit when the only attentive hands that we can rely on are our own, or our touch to our ear-penetrating tick-tocking clock. The morning routine of winding its mechanism is the only one that we still have the strength to undertake. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. to the undertakers here and around the world who, by this time tomorrow, will tally up the day's lucrative intake of the lifeless, skeletal young men who are supposed to be alive for another 50 years. Writing UK Black was a cathartic experience for me. For as much typing as I've done, I shed as much in tears. I hope I've done justice to the memory of loved ones lost and to those who looked after them. So, in memory, in remembrance, support, and unity, UK Black, I hope you will give it a read.